Unassuming from its unlikely exterior and location, this is a porter cabin with a difference. After stepping foot inside, you are immediately stunned by the colourful array of yarns, the chitter-chatter of women and the soothing hum of the treadle. Indeed, this is the home of the Falkland Islands Spinners and Weavers Guild. We're here at the Spinners and Weavers Guild here in the Falkland Islands to find out a little bit more about spinning, how it works and where it originates from. And we're joined by Margo Smallwood, who is the secretary of the group and is here to talk to us a little bit more about spinning. So let's find out the details.
When we were talking a little bit earlier, you spoke a little bit about, well, where does it come from in history? Mm-hmm. And people have been spinning for thousands of years, and they didn't originally spin on spinning wheels. They might have taken fibers and rolled them on their thigh to make make the strands stick together and make longer threads. Until about 400 years ago, everybody used a drop spindle, and there are several different styles, but you just spin like that.
Yes.
And it's this sort of spinning is if you visited South America, you might still see ladies who spin as they're going about their daily chores. And because you can spin all the time, this is described as being slower by the minute, but faster by the week, because you can spin any time, whereas to spin on a spinning wheel, you really have to just sit down and spin. There are people in the Falklands who have, in the past, used drop spindle and made family blankets and things like that. But since the Falklands was settled well after the invention of the spinning wheel, most people, when they spin, use a spinning wheel. And this sort of spinning wheel has been around for, 400 or 500 years. And it involves a treadle, which turns the wheel, and that wheel turns a pulley. The sort of spinning wheels we use, the drive band on the large wheel and then onto the pulley pulls this whole mechanism around, the flyer mechanism and the bobbin. And as I'm spinning, they both turn at the same speed. But when I'm finished a length of spinning and let there be less pull on it, the bobbin slows down, so the yarn wraps onto the bobbin. What the spinner is trying to do is they'll have a bundle of usually prepared wool in one hand, and what they're trying to do is what the spinner is doing is controlling the twist, so they allow just as much twist as is needed to hold the yarn together. And you need more twist for a thin yarn and less for a thick yarn. And then with the other hand, you're controlling how much wool to let get twisted. And it's one of the reasons that when you're beginning, it's hard to get just thick or just thin. It seems to come out as both, because it takes a fair bit of practice to be able to have a feel for all the different things that are going on and still keep the wheel turning at a steady rate. Mm-hmm. Early settlers of the Falkland Islands brought their spinning wheels with them, or some were imported, but it never really developed into a major cottage industry. And I wouldn't be sure why. The Falklands has always had more work almost than there is people to do it, might be one of the things. Also, the sheep all belong to the farm and not to individuals to have their own sheep wool to spin. But I've never heard of anyone who wanted to spin couldn't get wool from the farm, so I don't know why. But certainly, for personal use, people have been spinning.
Annis Roberts was the very first lady to set up the guild back in 1948 here on the island. Her husband moved to the Falklands first, where he began working as a sea captain for the FIC, and Anis followed shortly after. It is thought that over 60 members joined the guild, and their purpose was to promote the study and practice of spinning, weaving and dyeing here in the Falklands, something that very much remains here today. So how many ladies have you got at the guild at the moment?
We have 17 members, and we have probably another 3, 4, 5 who will come irregularly and just pay for an evening rather than be a member. And when we have events like workshops where we do dyeing, or we have occasional weekends at Darwin where they just kind of get together to craft, if you like, then we'll have perhaps ladies who wouldn't normally spin who go, and don't necessarily spin, they might take their sewing machine, but so that we have participation that way as well.
The products that you make here, do you go on to sell them or do you keep them for yourself?
The products that we make are entirely belong to members. Some of them put them up for sale. Some of them make gifts. Some of them make things for themselves. Like most people involved in fibre, a lot of us have too many sitting in the cupboard waiting for that special project that we haven't decided what it is yet.
Spinning is a craft for all ages. For many, you can both find yourself and lose yourself to the gentle whisper of the treadle. The Guild is a perfect opportunity to meet new faces in the community, and you can even create your very own woolly garments.